Bulavinaka, my name is Letia and I'm from the beautiful island of Laos and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Casey, I'm from Tabua. We love Today FM in Tabua. Today FM rocks.
My name is Selina, I'm from Tawenga Vengamba. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Pula, my name is Carlo. I love listening to the music in Today FM, in Malak Island. Today FM rock.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news tonight, court throws out Sun Insurance application. Over $25 million damages sustained during recent cyclones. A new medical centre to offer free services.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
The Suva High Court has today thrown out an application made by Sun Insurance Company Limited for constitutional redress. The company was challenging the constitutionality of the Accident Compensation Act, which started in January. Sun Insurance was trying to argue that the replacement of the Motor Vehicles Third-Party Insurance Act would more or less end the third-party insurance business. The High Court also ruled that the company needs to pay $2,000 in costs to the Attorney General's office. Pranita Prakash reports.
The Suva High Court says Sun Insurance should have applied for redress as soon as it became aware that the act was being introduced. High Court Judge Justice David Alfred said if a person becomes aware that his rights are expected to be contravened in the future, he must, within 60 days of first becoming aware of this, apply to the High Court for constitutional redress. The judge said the company was aware that the act had been passed and assented on 14th July 2017. Sun Insurance Company Limited instituted proceedings in the High Court on February 28th to seek judicial relief for uncompensated deprivation of its property following the commencement of the Accident Compensation Act, which came into effect in January. The company had claimed that the repeal of the motor vehicle third-party insurance effectively extinguished the CTP insurance business it had conducted for the past 18 years. The judge also noted that on 17th July 2017, the media was informed that Sun Insurance revenue through third-party insurance would decline by about $4.5 million a year because of the setting of the Accident Compensation Commission after the bill passed in Parliament. Justice Alfred said Sun Insurance failed to take steps to avoid the inevitable outcome. This judgment now means the Accident Compensation Commission can continue doing its work without being under pressure. The Commission last week paid out $75,000 as the first ever compensation payment to a family of a 7-year-old boy who had died in a road accident in February. This afternoon, Sun Insurance, through its lawyer Julian Moti, said Fiji's constitution guarantees our client an automatic right of appeal from this judgment. Moti said they will carefully consider the judgment before knocking the doors of the Fiji Court of Appeal. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
The sugar industry sustained over $25 million worth of infrastructural damage during Tropical Cyclone Josie and Tropical Cyclone Kenny. This was confirmed by Permanent Secretary for Sugar Yogesh Karan, who says this also includes the damages to cane farms. Savita Thambor reports.
306 farms were badly affected by the two natural disasters that affected Fiji early this month. Of these, 213 farms were from Ba, 85 in Lotoka, 5 in Rikiraki, and 3 farms affected in Lambasa.
As you may have seen, we have rolled out a plan to assist the farmers. We're going to clear all the debris that has come to the farms, the waterways, drainage, and the program for the road is already started. We have planned it out, and once the weather gets better, the roads will be constructed.
The Sugarcane Growers Council is anticipating a reduction in the season's production.
The immediate need for these growers would be getting back, bringing their life back to normal, especially in terms of having their basic needs. However, the estimated loss to the crop is approximately 7%, and we anticipate to harvest around 1.7 million tons of cane compared to 1.8 million tons that was forecasted initially.
CGC is urging affected farmers to complete the assistance form and send it to the main office or their district office. Sabera Tambua, FBC News.
The Fiji Sai Prema Foundation has invested $1.5 million to open the first ever Sri Satya Sai Sanjeevani Medical Centre in Suva, offering free services to all Fijians. Director of the foundation in Fiji, Sumit Tapu, says the health centre is aimed at providing a quality healthcare service. Catherine Krishna reports.
The new medical centre, which will be opened on Friday, will provide free services for children and adults.
This medical centre is once again going to be totally free of cost. It's in line with the principles of our organization, of our foundation, and it reflects the principles of our founder, Sri Satya Sai Baba, that all services given must be totally free of charge. There's no cost to the people.
Chairman of Sri Satya Sai Health and Education Trust, C. Srinivas, says having a medical centre in the country is a way of giving back to the country.
Satya Sai Baba, our founder, explained to us is about not going to a medical centre, about not going to a hospital. So health, as we address it, is in its very inherent form of preventive health, educative health, and curative health.
The medical centre will provide all necessary medical services to Fijians. The centre will also have experts in different medical fields that will provide the necessary advice to Fijians who need it. The medical centre, which is located at Nasese, will be opened by Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama. Catherine Krishna, FBC News.
An education officer's contract has been terminated and 10 others issued warning letters following an investigation conducted by the Education Ministry early this year. The investigation was carried out to find out the root cause of the delay of teachers' appointments, and the issue is now addressed. Minister responsible Ayaz Said Qayyum says these systematic problems have long been existing within the ministry and they're now actively being resolved. Said Qayyum says it's also very disturbing to note the release of false and misleading information. He adds they will ensure the ministry serves its teachers to allow them to focus entirely on teaching students. More information has surfaced in relation to the man who allegedly duped 6 farmers from Wainimala and Naitasiri to sell the Yangona worth over $200,000 on their behalf in Lambasa. Following the farmers' outburst on social media, the owner of a private apartment in Nausori is now claiming the alleged conman also owes them close to $8,000. Ali Kimbia with the story.
A private apartment in Navuso provided accommodation and food to the 6 Yangona farmers.
And suddenly he disappeared, and his staff also started to leave slowly. From 3 rooms, they occupied 2 rooms, and eventually there was 3 of them left here. And they were expecting, like, Orisi is the boss coming in? Is our room paid, our food money? Unfortunately, none of it was paid.
The bill amounted to an estimated $8,000 as the farmers claim they waited for the men to return from Lambasa with the money he earned from selling their Angona.
One day, when we were sleeping at the apartment, I came out and saw him packing his things to run away. And this is early in the morning. So we stayed there and he never came back for us because that was the early conversation that we agreed upon.
Adrian Sami told FBC News attempts to contact the alleged conmen were futile.
And then Orisi sent me an email that he's got like 50,000 euro coming in from England for his payment. Cross-checking with the bank said Mr. Orisi said not to give any information. Also, he had also threatened our apartment manager, Mr. Sumit Kumar, with messages, oh, if you're putting this on police report, I'll come, I'll kill you.
Meanwhile, police has confirmed that the investigation is still underway and the manhunt continues for the alleged conman. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
Irregularities were found in the Ministry of Sugar's 2016 Auditor General's report. In their submission to the Standing Committee on Public Accounts today, Director Sugar Operations Sanjay Kumar says they faced many challenges trying to rectify these irregularities. Anna Ravula reports.
Irregularities found in the Sugar Ministry's 2016 Auditor General's report were minor, and these have all been rectified.
We were pleased that our reports were unqualified. but there were some minor issues like the payment vouchers were not stamped and all those things which we have already rectified it from our side. There were some processes that were not followed, and these processes were from 2016.
The Director of Sugar Operations informed the committee limited staff since 2014 was also an issue. However, when the ministry roped in more people around 2016, there were problems such as monthly reconciliations, while some didn't take their responsibilities seriously.
I would say in terms of compliance with the accounting regulations, yes, there were. But now we have the right number of staff, it should not be an issue anymore.
Minor issues related to how we follow our procedures and process mostly in terms of release of grant to our industry stakeholders, and some of the processes that we follow in the account section especially.
Sanjay Kumar says the ministry has improved and now have the right number of staff to take on the responsibilities that are needed of them. Anna Ravulo, FBC News.
Still to come, rural residents raise waterways concern. And tourists unite for emotional Anzac Day. Stay with us.
Bula, kera mai singatoka, kera ndo tali taka na varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Uti kombinasyon mo tikola ndo tali taka na Radio Fiji 1 kina Domoy Viti.
Kaya kuya silil tali, nagurara may naomanyi, nandunga. Gitu tali taki yang gitu Venezuela, nagudurong varorong na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti na bonga ni BNN.
Tourism Fiji is under scrutiny for an Instagram post that incorrectly translated the word toilet in Itauke to Valenilotu, which means a place of worship. The posting on Tourism Fiji's official page had close to 2,000 views before it was removed. The post, however, has since gone viral, with screenshots of the incorrect posting now being shared across various social media platforms. Leader of Opposition Rotemu Mukepa said she was disgusted and outraged that Tourism Fiji could be so careless. She also questioned their use of their government grant of $43.5 million and that if this was a sample of their work, then the grant should be reviewed. In a statement released this afternoon, Tourism Fiji apologized for the incorrect translation, explaining it was a mistake due to a mismatch of graphic design and failure in their quality assurance process. Tourism Fiji noted that they regretted any offense the post may have caused, adding that they take the situation very seriously and are reviewing their internal processes to ensure it does not happen again. Minister for Waterways, Dr. Mahendra Reddy, has completed a two-day visit of project sites and potential areas of assistance in farms in the rural Lambasa area. He also held Talanoa sessions with farmers about the sort of assistance available that the Ministry of Waterways can offer. Eleanor Tarangaivu reports.
The Ministry of Waterways is responsible for addressing the growing threat that flooding poses to communities around the country.
Drainage system downstream is designed to handle the stormwater there. The water that rains, it flows off, runs off to the drainage system. Now, when we have massive amount of water gushing out of the watershed and catchment, suddenly then the waterways won't be able to handle it, and our drainage system downstream can't handle it.
One major problem the minister highlighted that is causing flooding is the amount of household waste that is dumped into the waterway. This, he says, blocks floodgates.
Not only it leads to overflowing of this creek here, but it also damages our floodgate. And repairing this is it's very costly exercise. A floodgate of this size, repairing this gates, cost us close to about $60,000–$70,000.
Yesterday, the minister visited some of the ministry's ongoing projects in Gelewanga, Wailebu, Tuatua, Siberia and Soasoa. The project at Soasoa involves the widening and deepening of the creek to stop the overflow of water into farms.
You know, this area is known for flooding. This is the first stage in our project for Soasoa to minimize any flooding here. After 10 years, this drain has been done, so this will contribute significantly towards imagine the amount of water that spills over this waterway. Very nice to see the present government has done these lovely things for us here, which has not been done for years and years and years. They used to dig only a few meters and then they used to go away. Now it's been done right through. It's such a lovely job.
Today, the minister visited farmers outside the sugar sector, highlighting the ministry's assistance towards new drainage networks for waterlogged farms. Eleanor Turangibiu, FBC News.
The next Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting to be held in 2020 will be hosted by Rwanda. Fiji was also in the race to host the meeting but lost to Rwanda in the bidding. The decision was announced in the 2018 CHOGM communique. Meanwhile, Samoa has overcome a strong challenge from Malaysia in the bid to host the CHOGM in 2022. CHOGM concluded last week, and it was agreed at the retreat that Prince Charles will take over as the next head of the Commonwealth from Queen Elizabeth II. Around 100 people gathered at Singatoka's Outrigger Fiji Beach Resort this morning to commemorate Anzac Day, the 103rd anniversary of the landing of Australian and New Zealand troops. Anzac Day was an emotional time for Australian and New Zealand tourists who were part of the remembrance. Felipe Naikaso with the details.
It's a solemn moment for many that reflect on those who served and died in all wars, conflicts and peacekeeping operations, and the contribution and suffering of all those who have served.
Anzac Day is not merely a date or some remote campaign, but rather a spirit. It is a time to reflect on the qualities of our past generations of Australia and New Zealanders who in hardship displayed courage, discipline, self-sacrifice, self-reliance, and resourcefulness and friendship.
For many that were present, April the 25th will always be a date they remember dearly.
My great-grandfather was in World War II and my great-great-grandfather was in World War I. Anzac Day is very important, especially to ex-servicemen, and it's just good to commemorate the day and pay thanks to people who served in wars.
Being a serving member of the Royal Australian Navy, I find Anzac Day very important to commemorate. Spend it with my family and friends. We always get together every Anzac Day. This is the first year we've come to Fiji. I just think it's very special to honour.
Those who continue to suffer through their physical or mental scars, including those next of kin whose grief and sense of loss can never be eased, Anzac Day is a tribute to them. Felipe Naikaso, FBC News.
In sports later, 3 Fijians named in All Black Sevens for Singapore tournament, but we now join Rachel with business.
Thanks, Jackie. Good evening, and coming up in business tonight. Fiji Airports to host another international civil aviation organization. And in growing Fiji, detailed roadwork plan to avoid traffic problems. Stay with us.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकू रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची एफएम सुनती हूँ। मिर्ची एफएम इज नंबर 1। इट्स सो हॉट।
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची एफएम सुनो अच्छा लगे। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट।
हाय, मैं संध्या नारिया रेफरी से मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची एफएम सुनते हैं। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट। आई लव मिर्ची एफएम।
हमें स्पिन टोटो ताबुआ के मिर्ची एफएम में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे।
मिर्ची एफएम इट्स हॉट।
Leading business tonight, Fiji Airports is hosting yet another international civil aviation organization meeting in Denarau this week. Chief Executive Faith Khan says the objective of the third meeting is for the Surveillance, Implementation and Coordination Group to focus on the challenges in the implementation and operations of surveillance in the Asia-Pacific region. Khan says there is an ever-increasing pressure on the air navigation service providers to make it safer, reliable and efficient. He adds Fiji Airports is on an aggressive path of modernizing its CNS and ATM system. Fiji's net international investment position was slightly over negative $8 million as of December 31st, 2017. It rose by over $3 million when compared to the September quarter. The figure stood at over negative $7 billion a year earlier. The amount reflects a much higher value of foreign investment in Fiji compared to our investments abroad. Fiji's international liability was valued at over $12 billion, while net assets were valued at over $4 billion as of December 31st, 2017. And we now join Rocco from HFC Bank with the latest from the financial market.
Vinaka, a quick look at the markets. The US dollar index hit a 3-month high against a basket of currencies as the 10-year US Treasury yield hit a 3% range, with their housing and consumer confidence both coming in as robust. The low Australian first quarter inflation and falling Wall Street kept the sentiment negative on the Aussie dollar. Otherwise, it was fairly quiet day for our Aussie Kiwi counterparts, as both the countries had holiday to mark Anzac Day today. However, we are looking forward to a few important data releases tomorrow. These include March trade balances for both Australia and New Zealand, Eurozone's interest and deposit rate decisions, and April jobless data for US. It will be interesting to see how these releases will impact our Fiji dollar basket later tomorrow. That's all from me for now. Thank you.
Thanks for that update, Rocco. Taking a look at today's currency exchange rates this morning for the Fijian dollar. Our dollar lost grounds against our major trading partner, Australia, the Chinese yuan, the US dollar, and the euro. As for the commodities market, oil prices closed at $68.94 a barrel. Gold dropped to close at $1,327 an ounce, and silver closed down at $16.66 an ounce. And in Growing Fiji tonight, the Fiji Roads Authority will ensure traffic movement are not disrupted when carrying out roadworks which are planned in the upcoming months. Chief Executive Jonathan Moore says they've witnessed that when multiple roadworks are done at the same time, it causes traffic problems. Kelly Vidala reports.
There will be a much better detailed and planned roadwork activity by the FRA when more roadwork begins in the next few months.
Middle of last year there was a lot of disruption and chaos caused by concurrent working, and we're trying to be a bit more logistically considerate about how we're working right now. If we were to do work in Suva City Centre, Kings Road, Princes Road and Queen Elizabeth Drive all at the same time, I think it would lead to too much disruption.
Many Fijians say the concurrent roadwork caused delays and even confused drivers on which route to take, especially during peak hours.
They should have a organized time to do the works. Usually when the traffic comes up, it's very frustrating.
It's good that FRA is carrying out repairs, but they should plan it well.
Multiple roadworks at the same time affects the public a lot.
Meanwhile, the FRA will soon undertake changes to traffic movements in Suva City following the opening of the Stinson Parade Bridge.
We would rather do it in small sections, focused, so we get all the team in one area to work in one location.
A major pavement repair work is underway at Suva's Queen Elizabeth Drive. The road will be closed for 2 weeks and drivers are advised to take alternative routes. Kelly Vadala, FPC News.
And that's a wrap from Business This Evening. Now to sports. Here's Jamie with the latest.
Thanks, Rachel, and good evening. Coming up in sports, Fiji Sevens out the end drought in Singapore. And 2 local clubs to compete at Asia Volleyball Competition. This and more after the break.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकु रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची एफएम सुनती हूँ. मिर्ची एफएम is number 1. It's so hot.
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची एफएम सुनो अच्छा लगे. मिर्ची एफएम is hot.
हाय, मैं संध्या नारियल रेफ्रिजरेटर से मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची एफएम सुनते हैं. मिर्ची एफएम is hot. I love मिर्ची एफएम.
हमें स्पिन तो हुआ कि मिर्ची एफएम में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे.
मिर्ची एफएम, it's hot.
It's been 12 years since Fiji last won the Singapore Sevens tournament, and now with a shot of claiming the lead on the World Series at stake, players in the Fiji Sevens side are even more determined for a win this weekend. Vastal Prasad with this report.
The Fiji Sevens side is confident of achieving another milestone this weekend, with Hamilton, Vancouver and Hong Kong Sevens titles in bag. These players know a win in Singapore will take them to the top of the World Rugby Series table.
Good place right now. It's all about hard work and teamwork for us to enable to reach the top of the table. It's all with the boys. It's all the team effort, and we'll deliver what we've been taught during the training.
Coach Gareth Beba has retained his regular players for the tournament. Fijian sledgehammer Eroni Sau believes the team has the depth to deliver good results.
It's good being with old boys and some new boys too are coming through the system, and in a good spirit, helping each other and work hard towards each other.
Winger Alassio Nanduva, who made his debut in New Zealand, is aiming for an impressive performance in his first Singapore tournament.
Go there and we have to win, because we want to top the table series.
In preparation for the 2019 Pacific Games, the Fiji Yachting Association will send a group of sailors to the Oceania Sailing Championship in Australia in December. The association believes the competition will provide great exposure for local sailors. Meli Tavanga has more.
Fiji has failed to win gold in the last two Pacific Games. However, the Fiji Yachting Association is taking a step further, getting their sailors to learn from the best at the Oceania Sailing Championship.
But depending upon numbers, we may send more than 4, but we'll be sending at least 4. And those 4 will be likely the sailors that we would select for the Pacific Games next year.
More than 2 sailors will compete and at the same time gain experience for the 2019 Pacific Games.
Australia and New Zealand have won the majority of the gold medals in sailing over recent Olympic Games. We are fortunate in some respects to have them in our region, because if we sail against the best, we compete against the best, and so we aim to do as they do.
Coach Emmanuel Jamado says they will ensure their sailors have the best training facility to prepare for these events.
We have the very good condition. The weather is good. You can see the sea is amazing here for training. We are very close to the very important country like Australia and New Zealand.
The Oceania Sailing Championship will be held in Tasmania, Australia. Meli Tavanga, FBC Sports.
The annual Suva Marathon has been accredited by the International Association of Athletics Federations. The recognition by the governing body will now validate marathon times of athletes taking part in the Suva Marathon and potentially open up the doors to compete in other IAAF events. Marathon organizer Marita Manley is also encouraging athletes that participated in the Coca-Cola Games last weekend to explore a potential athletics career further and compete at the event this Saturday.
So now the Suva Marathon is an IAAF accredited event. It means that any times that you run in Suva can potentially act as qualification times for the bigger marathons around the world. So if you look at the main marathons, Boston, New York, London, they all have qualification times if you want to participate in the elite part of that event. So now we also have an IAAF event in Suva, which is great.
The International Cricket Council has recognized Suva's Albert Park as a capable venue to host international cricket tournaments. The sports governing body has given the okay for Cricket Fiji to host the ICC East Asia Pacific Sub-Regional World T20 qualifier in August at Albert Park. Cricket Fiji General Manager Setoki Ngaluwakandoa says this opportunity will open doors to host international tests in the future.
ICC had inspected the facilities, and they've given the green light to go ahead with the tournament. Since the facilities and the ground condition meet the requirements of ICC. And at the moment, preparation is still in early stages.
2 local club teams will compete in the upcoming Asian Volleyball Confederacy Inter-Club Championship that will take place next month in Thailand. The Raiwai Rebels and the Army women's team qualified after winning the Oceania Interclub Championship held in February. Fiji Volleyball Federation President Nanise Budhango believes having clubs compete in international tournaments will help grow the sport locally as well as better identify players for national duties.
Identifying the athletes right from the club level and participating at the Oceania and AVC level, this is quite a boosting aspect to recognize each athlete as they are and able to allow new athletes to come in for the selection for the national.
The Houston Rockets scored 50 points in a single quarter against the Minnesota Timberwolves, only the second ever recorded in NBA postseason history. The side started the third quarter up by a point and ended it up by 31. The Rockets' eventual winners beating the Timberwolves 119-100. That's it from sports this evening. Angie joins you later on with weather and in new media right after the break. A look at how concerns are being raised over the protection of children using technology and social media. That's coming up.
Bula, kera mai singatoka, kera ndo talita kana varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoi Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Uti kami na sa mga kola, ndo talita kana Radio Fiji 1 kina Domoi Viti.
Ayaw kuya do sila tale, nagurara may naomanyi, nandunga. Gitu talita gini ang gitu Venezuela, nagudurong varorong na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoi Viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoi Viti na bonga ni BNN.
Lawmakers in the UK are threatening social media companies with new legislation unless they come up with safeguards to protect young people online. UK's Health Secretary Jeremy Hunt's written to giants like Facebook and Google saying they've turned a blind eye to problems caused by social media.
Hello there and welcome to the Weather World. It's hump day and weather's quite jumpy too. It was also sunny and nice until yesterday, but rain has decided to take over, but we can deal with light showers. Taking a quick look in the west for today, it had light showers with more expected overnight. Eastwards from Peck Harbour to Suva, all drizzles for today and showers are likely as well. And up north, quite sunny and warm. At sea, southeast winds gusting up to 20 knots with moderate to rough seas. For the tides, low tide will be at 8:57 p.m. with high tide at 3:29 a.m. Sunrise will be at 6:18. For tomorrow, it will be a mixture of sun and showers. Tomorrow's temps, majority centers will be cool in the high 20s. And looking further on to Friday, the best day I suppose, but more so, light showers are expected. And that's all from the FBC Weather World. Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. In Fijian Pulse tonight, we asked, should the online safety bill now be fast-tracked?
I believe so. For the safety of our kids and the youth of this country, there's been a lot of, and we as parents are very concerned, you know, for the freedom of what's been going on, and you know it really affects the students and the future citizens.
Well, I think if we are looking at the illegalities that's happening day to day, I think that bill should be effective immediately.
I think this should be done immediately because this is an ongoing issue, and people have been posting up disturbing pictures or videos on Facebook.
I think the online bill should be faster because of the safety of the children. The longer they delay, the more pictures will be posted.
In the world of the weird and the wonderful, it's estimated that changing from disposable to reusable nappies can save parents as much as $4,500 per child. It's also much better for the environment because a disposable nappy takes centuries to decompose. But buying reusable nappies isn't cheap, so a young mother from New Zealand had a simple idea: reuse reusable nappies. Recapping the main stories for tonight, court throws out Sun Insurance application. Over $25 million damages sustained during recent cyclones, and new medical centre to offer free services. Now for these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question this week, we are asking, do you think more should be invested to develop athletes to meet international standards? Visit our FBC website to answer. Before we go, our shot of the day. Picture was taken by Ephraim Dhokana of Day Spring Christian College in Namandi. It's an early morning sunrise from Namandi Heights, Suva, and his picture was sent in by his father, Paula Dhokana. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page, FBC News. You can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply #FBC News. That was your FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, stay safe. Good night.
Wrong on the radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Kombinasyon mo tikola untuk tali tak na radio Fiji 1 kena Domoy Viti.
Ayaw ko yazo sila tali. Nagurara may nawamanyi. Nandunga. Gitu tali tajiri ang gitu Venezuela po nagbundo rongo. Barong na radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti.
Na radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti na ponga ni BNN.